Oh, so sorry. Page 40.
See page 41 because this may be different. Let me see. He reviewed.
इनका है पेज
The challenge was too
61.
much.
हाँ? Which one are you doing?
The challenge was too much for Arjuna. He broke down.
Is that a shloka number or something?
No, it's not. This is just an introduction.
Prior?
Oh, introduction.
Okay.
Like जिसमें लिखा हुआ है ना महाभारत.
Is it before or after?
Give me. I'll do one, and then what you do is after that just put some bookmarks over there. Yeah, challenge is too much. Page 48. Page 48. Challenge was too much.
Sorry.
Okay, so who wants to read? Somebody else can read it now.
कहाँ पर है?
मिला आपको 48 पे? नहीं,
नहीं,
मेरी और
my
आपकी
book
बुक
is
सेम
different.
होगी.
Yeah. So,
40.
40. Okay.
Page 40 पे देखिए. Did you guys all get it?
Yeah, the challenge was.
Why are we skipping it? Are we in a hurry to finish?
No, because it's just a preface. You know, ये गीता का खाली इंट्रोडक्शन है तो जो मेजर थिंग्स है निकाल करके बता रहे हैं आपको, नहीं तो इसी में फंस जाओगे.
हमारी किताब में तो दिस लॉर्ड ऑफ व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ कुरुक्षेत्र, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ पांडव,
Everything is coming. Have patience. Everything will be coming. But this is even pre.
Okay.
This is we have not gone to the first shloka because it starts with Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. We haven't reached there. But this is just to tell the scenario of Arjun's condition. That's why I started with this. Okay.
You can
So who's going to read
Can
it?
you
आप
also
पढ़ेंगे?
explain what are the with first 6 chapters, what do they say and what is the
So the
There are
way it
total-
is that have you heard of the word Tattvam Asi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You are that, right? So what they said that there are 18 chapters. The first 6 chapters talk about you. Tvam. Tum kaun ho ji. So because the whole thing about Vedas is कि तुम कौन हो, दुनिया क्या है, भगवान क्या है, वो हो गया. So it focuses on Arjun himself, who he is. The next 6 chapters is that. It takes the nature of God. So from 7 until 12, it is भगवान के बारे में बताया. Deep. Because remember we discussed कि उन्होंने कहा कि तुम मेरे पर ध्यान लगाओ, self पे. पर self है कौन? अगर हमें यही नहीं पता होगा हम ध्यान कैसे लगाएंगे? तो फिर वो आएगा. और फिर last 6 chapters is the relationship between the two. Asi means भगवान है, तुम हो, फिर तुम दोनों का क्या relationship है. और उसमें वो अद्वैत वगैरह सब आ जाता है. That whatever we have studied, the non-duality theme is throughout, you will see. And then as we had discussed before, Arjun ko another one thing I wanted to say, the word yoga. Actually it is yoga. It's become yoga. Yoga means to join or to unite. So we unite with whom? The higher self. So either you can say within me also Bhagwan is there, so I'm uniting with the higher self. So every chapter is considered yoga of something.
So when the San Diego Union was supporting the Encinitas School District not giving yoga in the classes, this is what they said. That it's a westernized word as yoga. The word is yoga. And it is connecting to the Hindu gods. They didn't say to the divine, they said to the Hindu gods.
Yeah, because the thing is that they because you don't understand the
remember
yoga
that?
word,
They were
overruled, no?
Yeah.
They were overruled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, because
basically-
somebody paid money and hired attorneys to say that no, they require it. So
Yeah, I mean, to me, let them fight it out. We understand, and once we understand, we can even tell other people. We don't know, we cannot. So the reason it is yoga of each chapter is because that becomes the means to connect to the higher. So like karma yoga, became the means to gnana yoga. So knowledge becomes means to connect to the higher. तो कोई बोलेगा कि भाई अर्जुन विषाद योग. How did Arjun's grief become the yoga? Question आ सकता है ना. तो बोले कि grief became his platform to because वो इतना गिर गया grief में कि वो बोला मैं इतना confused हो गया. And you will see the verse. He will say कि he had a full-fledged nervous breakdown. उसका इंस्ट्रूमेंट गिर गया उसके हाथ से, उसको पसीना आ गया, उसके रोंगटे खड़े हो गए, उसका पूरा शरीर जलने लगा ज्वर से, and all that. And he surrendered to Krishna. And in the beginning it was a partial surrender, they say. He said, पहले वो बोला I'm not going to fight the war. फिर कृष्ण भगवान ने उसको थोड़ा डांटा वाटा वो सब कुछ किया, like a friend, hey, what are you doing? Get up. don't act like a coward. He actually told him few words. And so then finally he said, okay, yes, I'm totally confused. I can't think. You teach me. But then he said, okay, I'll listen to you, but I'll still not fight the war. See his mental state? I'll listen to you, but I'll still not fight the war. Then again he gave arguments. बाद में जाके end में 18th chapter में he said that my delusion is gone. I will do as you say. He actually said those words. I will do what you say. And that's when his delusion is gone. So that is the whole process. So does that help? Yeah.
The challenge was too much for Arjuna. He broke down. He was in tears. His bow Gandiva slipped off from his dejected hands.
That's what you said.
Trembling in his limbs, pale and haggard in his looks, he stared at Krishna, a psychological wreck, a man of ruined morale. He started protesting in broken words, blabbering. He talked of the ignominies of war. He repeated all the arguments of all pacifists. He quoted Dharma Shastra, and at last he declared, "It is better to eat by begging alms than rule over this kingdom after killing all these men in battle."
So you can imagine his condition had deteriorated so much. Yes.
Krishna saw the state of delusion in which Arjuna was. As a true and able psychologist, Krishna read the confusion in Arjuna's heart, diagnosed its causes, and decided that immediately he must be whipped to activity by sharp words that will really go home. A psychological surgery was needed, and he used the sharpest of knives. "Oh, Arjuna, this cowardly nervousness in the face of crisis is not fit for an Aryan and is an impediment to your welfare hereafter, etc."
So everybody, we already discussed this. Okay. Go ahead.
This shock therapy, through sudden insult, had an evident effect. Arjuna started again noisy blabberings. The Lord allowed him to exhaust himself and then started his more thorough treatment of the shattered mental constitution of Arjuna through his divine song, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. No better setting could have been given to the philosophy of life, which is true Hinduism, than this battlefield. Religion is easier and simpler to live and precise in secluded forests.
And practice in seclusion.
Religion is easier and simpler to live and practice in secluded forests. It can be considered even a luxury if it were to be lived only in the sanctum of church or a temple. But a philosophy that has no bearing on life has no pith. Here in Gita, Hinduism is in action. The dynamism of the wisdom of the seers brought to bear upon a crisis in one single individual's life. How the entire history of the country was made by the successful rehabilitation of one erring, deluded hero was amplified in Mahabharata. That which could then revive a normal man, Arjuna, from his derangements into an integrated whole being, can be made use of even now in reviving everyone who is in the state of Arjuna, if he but approaches the Gita with the faith and urgency of Arjuna.
Okay, so that's it. So this gave a very good picture, right, of what Arjuna's condition was, and he's just saying that how if it was said in some kind of temple or church in a very peaceful, nice, then people will say, "But मेरी life में क्या फायदा मिलेगा मुझे इससे?" So that's why he created a situation and saying one man's rehabilitation, and like you were saying that it 18 chapter transformed him. So it has a power to transform, and he was
18 days. The battle was only for 18 days.
right. But this Gita was before the battle. He got transformed before. Yes. So I think Swamiji said it very nicely. So now what I want to do is go to this general introduction. So there's whoever has a book can, do the nighttime reading, finish it off. general introduction में we will read this one paragraph, third paragraph.
आप इसमें बता दीजिए. Nisha, you want bookmarks?
Yes.
Sure. Sorry, didn't mean to throw it.
How come yours looks slightly different? Where is in the Song of Lord? Because
मेरे
this,
लिए उन्होंने special बनाई है.
I know. Okay, I don't know. I just wanted to read one
I
little,
can read that
Yeah.
easily, says. You want to read it? That's good.
just one little thing over
You
here.
don't have it? General introduction.
So here, because we read the whole thing, it says, under the stress of some psychological maladjustment, Krishna got shattered in the mental equipoise. And just listen, it's okay. So I'll just, yeah, just one paragraph because it's just kind of telling you. Under the stress of some psychological maladjustment, Arjun got shattered in his mental equipoise and lost his capacity to act with true discrimination. Lord Krishna takes in hand the neurotic mind of Arjuna for a Hindu treatment with Vedic truths. That's why I wanted to bring. So, usko treatment ye wala diya, right? Acha. So now this is get a little technical over here. So I wanted to skip all this, but you guys read here the last over here. This last 4 or 5 paragraphs, small ones. They are really good one. And who has?
Where is it the beginning from?
Huh?
What is the paragraph beginning?
It's in
Yeah.
the varying degrees.
In varying degrees, yes.
Yeah.
Let me just tell them it because this is last part. Because when all these somehow you don't have that.
ये तो
The
ये
same
तो आपका
paragraph.
general
ए
introduction है ना?
महाभारत आ गया, yes, no, it's like in the varying degrees. After the class, I will look at this book.
अच्छा अर्जुन को क्या हुआ था ना कि उसको मोह के became क्योंकि Bhishma for him was like a father.
Yeah.
Like he was the main
Okay,
guy.
somehow
to
you
his
don't
life.
have it.
And with him only he had to fight, so he was a little shattered.
Yeah.
तो उसको देहध्यास भी हो गया, मतलब कि if you're connected to the body,
Yeah.
इतना सब सिखाया उसको, पर at the time of the examination,
He could not follow through.
yeah.
So let's see what Krishna treatment is. Yes.
Okay.
Just listen.
In varying degrees, every man is a victim of
Oh, sorry,
this.
ऊपर से पढ़िए. My fault. The Krishna treatment.
The Krishna treatment of this patient of psychological derangement was certainly a specific cure, in as much as in the last chapter we definitely hear Arjuna declaring that all his delusions have ended. The rest of the story of how, having come into his own, he became a rejuvenated warrior of tremendous strength and valor is quite well known to all students of this great classic. In varying degrees, every man is a victim of this Arjuna disease, and the Krishna cure, being specific, is available to all of us at all times in the philosophy of the Gita.
See how important it is? So we all have Arjun disease, and he's saying Krishna cure is there.
In the second chapter, which is almost a summary of the entire Gita, Krishna indicates the two main lines of treatment. One is treatment of idealism, wherein Arjuna is directed to the greater reality than his mind, ego, and intellect, and thereby the divorce between the subjective and the objective aspects of his mind is eliminated to some extent.
So everybody kind of got the picture what it means over here, because I know it sounds a little technical. In chapter 2, actually, Krishna Bhagavan gave him the highest knowledge, because then we had already discussed that the way the Vedantins take the approach is they always give the highest first. It's exactly opposite of what secular education is. So here we go from like this, there they give you the highest, because the way Swamiji used to explain कि अगर कोई स्टूडेंट इतना ब्राइट है उसको पता चल गया सब कुछ तो दे डजंट हैव टू वेस्ट टाइम, जाओ तुम मास्टर बन जाओ भी, जाके सब कुछ सिखाओ. इफ यू डिडंट गेट इट देन दे गो डाउन. Same method is in Bhagavad Gita. He gave him everything in chapter 2 what is important, but obviously Arjun, just like us, had a lot of questions. So थोड़ा सा कुछ एटलीस्ट उसका जो वो एकदम नर्वस ब्रेकडाउन थोड़ा सा ठीक हुआ उसका, मगर he not ready to fight yet.
In Gurukul, they have the option, like you can finish the class in 6 months and move to the next one.
I see.
If you are bright enough, you don't have to stay for
Yeah.
the whole year.
So I think it's the same method.
So I did all my classes in 6 months.
Thank you for telling us that, Kamala.
You're going to be good student at this Bhagavad Gita class. So here it's saying that where he directs us to a greater reality, what you were saying, than mind, ego and intellect, because we all think कि that's what we are, यही संसार है, हम लोग ने पूरा ये मांडुक्य भी पढ़ा, वही तो वो बोलते जा रहे हैं बार-बार. So he's saying he directed it to higher. Okay, go ahead.
In the second half of the same chapter, we shall read and come to understand how selfless activity will purge the existing vasanas in the individual. Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, his mind was colored by the impression of Rajoguna, that is activity, and so he needed a battlefield to exhaust those impressions.
Now this is very important.
Yeah.
He says you got it this time. So here he's saying, because we all feel like, okay, that is so important, why do I have to do this? Why don't I just skip and run there? No, it's not going to happen. You got to go through this. So that's why the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra is very important. Okay.
Thus we find Krishna repeatedly goading his friend with the words, "Get up and fight." This need not necessarily mean that the Gita is a warmongering scripture of the ruling class. It is a call to teach, it is a call to each one of us to get up and fight the battle of our own life, according to our own vasanas, that is swadharma, and so that we may exhaust them and thus gain inner purity. As we take it up stanza by stanza for a close study of the entire song, we shall try to see how Krishna indicates the same truth from the different angles of vision and explain the same in different words.
See, this is very nicely explained here, right?
This is so nice.
Yes, because then it gives us, now we know what is coming. The way he explained that it is one truth, but उसको different ढंग से बताया. But two messages are the most powerful here. One is to connect to that higher, beyond your body, mind, and intellect, and also karma yoga, because that is the only way to get there.
Because
Yes,
I
and the
keep
practice
asking
of it.
this question, that why are you bringing so many challenges? I want to achieve you. I want to meditate, and no, I have so much energy. I have to burn that first, then I.
Yes,
This
because Rajoguna,
directly-
we are all full of Rajoguna. अगर
Yes,
हम नहीं
yes.
होते ना, हम सात्विक अगर इतना
This
होते तो अभी तक
explains this
पहले ही
so
बैठे
well.
होते गुफा में. So हमारे पास Rajoguna है, पर उसका भी that's the beauty
इसको
of Bhagavad
गुफा मत
Gita.
बताओ, ये पहुंच जाएगी.
And
ये पढ़ने के बाद नहीं
नहीं
पहुंचेगी.
नहीं पहुंच
Uma,
पाऊंगी
another thing in this
क्योंकि I
Gita
have to.
class, we are talking about all this now.
Yeah.
So how to receive it.
Yeah.
So our body language also has to be receiving,
Yeah.
receptive. So
Open.
when you sit in the Gita class, sit with your hands that the grace is falling on you to sit, or sit like this with reverence. Shraddhavan lapte gyan.
Okay.
So
फिर से
these
बोलो.
two gestures.
शब्द.
and
No, Shraddha.
श्रद्धावान लपते ज्ञान.
Okay, got it.
जिसको श्रद्धा होती है वो
समझ में आ गया.
वो ही तो एकदम
And this is a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Shraddhavan
yeah,
Lapte Gnanam.
it's all from the Gita only.
So anybody, can we move forward now?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल.
So let's see what the time is.
Time is 12:05.
So let's do.
This is called Gyan Mudra.
We can do one of this. We can start with Arjun's grief introduction at least. So I think और भी लोगों के पास मीराज आपका throat वगैरह ठीक है, पढ़ेंगी आप?
Chapter 1.
I'll skip.
Skip.
No, I think.
Did you want to read?
No, not today.
Not today.
I can read.
Yeah,
Okay,
huh?
I can read it. Shireen, which is the this thing? I
जिसने
can-
नहीं पढ़ा है maybe इसमें है. Arjuna's
होगा.
grief will be there.
अब होगा.
अब होगा.
Chapter 1.
Grief होगा. अब grief होगा.
Grief से मुक्ति मिलेगी, है ना?
Chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1, Arjuna's
Journal.
grief, that's addressed as Arjuna's
Mukti ke
grief.
liye we are climbing the steps up.
Introduction.
Page 57.
And इनका
No, this is
different
the
होगा
same.
page.
They're just a little bit in the beginning, maybe different.
71.
71, okay.
Arjun's grief. Yeah.
Page,
So-
yeah, 11 actually. Arjuna
Okay.
Grief Introduction. No other race in the world and had ever harnessed so successfully the scintillating possibilities of the drama in literature for the purposes of philosophical exposition as the ancient Hindus. The Upanishads were recorded in the form of conversations between the teacher and the taught, in the quiet atmosphere of the silent and peaceful Himalayan valleys. In the Gita, however, the highest and the best in Hindu philosophy have been reiterated in a more elaborate and detailed dramatic layout amidst the din and roar of a total war. Krishna gives his message of manly action to Arjuna amidst the breathing, palpitating environment of the clash and carnage of a battlefield.
So he's just dramatizing कि कितना भयानक सीन के अंदर उन्होंने ये पूरा दे दिया अपने because but conversation style same ही है जब उपनिषद की है वही है style है चेले और इसमें हाँ.
The Kauravas, 100 in number, represent the innumerable ungodly.
It's
don't
okay
have-
that one even I wrote skip because don't worry about that. What she's reading is correct. Just go to the Kaurava, third paragraph. Huh?
Third paragraph.
No,
Just same,
you're
same.
okay.
You're okay.
The Kauravas, 100 in number, represent the innumerable ungodly forces of negative tendencies within man's bosom, and the Pandavas, no doubt, represent the divine impulses in him.
So, did everybody understood this?
Yeah.
That it's a symbolic that we have both. So we have negative tendency and we have godly. So
Yeah, we have
that's
more
what
negative.
exactly more negative, and only 5 Pandavas means few good things. But if Pandavas hang on to Bhagavan, you'll win. So you hang on to something higher. That's what he's saying. Yeah. Okay.
A constant Mahabharata war is being waged within every one of us at all our crucial moments of action. And in all cases, the negative forces in each one of us are larger in number and usually mightier in their effectiveness, while the inner divine army is ever lesser in number and apparently comparatively weaker in efficiency. Therefore, every single individual at the moment of his inward shaking up must necessarily feel the desperations of Arjuna.
So he's telling that how we also face because the negativity takes over
In our daily life.
is more daily life. So that's what, huh?
The story of the Mahabharata sounds an optimistic note of hope to man that even though the diviner impulses are seemingly less in number, if the same are organized fully and brought under the guidance of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the Self, then under his guidance they can easily be ushered into a true and permanent victory over the outnumbering forces of lust and greed.
So you saw the analogy.
That's important.
Okay, this is our everyday life he's talking about now, huh?
The Kauravas representing the negative tendencies.
Okay, skip 2 paragraph and then it went. It's okay, we can go the way this book is. Huh?
Go ahead.
The Kauravas representing the negative tendencies and the sinful motives in mortals' bosoms are born as children to the old king, Dhritarashtra, a born blind prince. He was wedded to Gandhari, who had voluntarily blinded herself by putting bandages over her eyes. Commentators are tempted to see in this a very appropriate significance. Mind is born blind to truth, and when it is wedded to an intellect which has also assumed blindness, the negative instincts yoked with low motives can only beget 100 criminalities and sins.
You saw the analogy, how beautiful it is. So when we are born, the mind is blind, and then तुमने intellect instead of opening up to the higher self, उसने भी पट्टी बांध ली. हम लोग भी सोचते हैं ना कि वो गांधारी को उसकी आंखें बन सकती थी वो.
हाँ, उसको बनना ही था as a wife also bodily.
हाँ तो लेकिन उसने भी बांध ली पट्टी. दिखने में बहुत नोबल लगा मगर उसका डिजास्टर हुआ है बिकॉज माइंड एंड इंटेलेक्ट दोनों ब्लाइंड हो गए. तो उससे क्या होगा 100 ऐसे जो नेगेटिव
गलतियां होंगी
नेगेटिव पुत्र जो जन्म लिया उसका रिजल्ट था वो, you know, that's what it was. See how there's so much symbolism here. Yes, yes.
When upon the spiritual field of self-development within Dharma
Kshetra.
the lower instincts and the higher ideals array themselves, ready to fight, a true seeker, the captain of the latter, under the guidance of his divine discriminative intellect, takes himself to a point on no man's land between the two forces for the purpose of reviewing the enemy lines without identifying himself with either the good or the evil in him. At that moment of his introspective meditations, the egoistic entity comes to feel a morbid desperation and feels generally incapacitated to undertake the great spiritual adventure of fighting his inner war with any hope of victory.
So how he's saying that when this is happening, when the lower tendencies are taking over in our mind, that's the time I stop and I review both. That's what जो scene बताया ना महाभारत का वो अपने दिमाग में चलता है. Because अब let me sleep over it, let me think over it, let me, you know. So वो जो, and what do? I sit back and I review the, you know, negative and positive. हर एक situation ऐसा करते हैं हम बीच में खड़े हो जाते हैं वहाँ पे. And then I reviewing both. So see how the whole thing is bringing us to our lives, you know. And he's saying at that time, सबसे पहले तो ये होएगा because negative tendencies are so strong, I feel so dejected. हाँ मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता, I'm finished, ये वो फिर वो टाइम पे जो अपने higher self है अपना wisdom बोलेगा नहीं, then we turn back to Shastra. If whatever we have learnt in the Shastras, yes, you know, there they say that I should not be shaken by heaviest sorrow. Imagine that can give us strength, right? So you hang on to the higher, and that's Krishna. And then here, actually, this it's not there in this, but I want to just read this real quick because that is really nice. The famous analogy of the chariot. The psycho-spiritual theory of Vedantic sadhana has been most effectively described. The body of the chariot, which is pulled forward by the 5 steeds, the sense organs, each trotting along its path, laid out by the sense objects. So जो 5 घोड़े हैं ना, उसको 5 इंद्रियां बोली हैं. The discriminative intellect is the ideal charioteer who holds the lusty steed of perfect control. Means जो लगाम पकड़ के रखी है, that is his intellect. And therefore drives the chariot and the lord of the chariot, the ego, to its destination, the heaven of peace. Means हमारा जो जिंदगी की गाड़ी है वो हम wisdom से चलाते हैं, लेकिन अगर वो हमने higher self के हाथ में पकड़ा दी तो फिर वो right direction में ले जाएगा अपने को. Because it's like किसी ने बोला कि वो chariot पे इसलिए बैठे कृष्ण भगवान because he want to take Arjun in the right direction. So direction is very important in our life, you know. So उसमें भी कितना symbolism है कि क्यों बने वो उसके सारथी. Because उसके intellect के सारथी बने वो. तभी तो वो like when जब वो उसको nervous breakdown हुआ तो साइड में कृष्ण भगवान ही खड़े थे because he is his charioteer. And then he surrendered to him.
So the same thing is with mind and intellect.
Yeah, here he's talking about purified intellect.
Purified, higher.
Yeah, higher. So the more, and the higher can be symbolic. It can be
It's
shastras,
symbols.
it can be guru, it can be a
Yes.
wise person. Because जब हम लोग बहुत disturb हो जाते हैं, so पुराने ज़माने में there were rishi munis, we could go to them, right? Like modern day psychiatrists, because now the psychiatry has become like a joke. You know, they just push.
But the psychiatrist, you know, has to always ask the psychiatrist that when you deal with a client, you know, when you deal, how do you explain? What are your bases to explain anything?
I know that's a whole,
You know,
separate.
so,
but here is this
you
greater
know, I
psychology.
feel the Gita has all the answers.
Yes, it does because one of them
Because
told
you have
me
to go back
that
to some scientific evidence.
you say when I treat my patients, you know, I do all the whatever Western thing, but when I want some strength, I go to Bhagavad Gita. That's one of the psychiatrists told me. So
Yeah, I know a psychiatrist who all the time she's trying to build up, you know, this thing, because for her clients. So I used to ask her, I said, when you talk to your client, what do you say?
but some of them are not ready to listen. So what are you gonna do? You know,
Because you just take them round and round the bush
I know.
in a whole thing of question answers and all, and then blame it on parents.
No, they have
and
to
blame
go-
it on
go
this
by the
and
book.
blame it on that.
Okay, so what I would like to do is, I don't want to leave our Mandukya because that will not be good. So we will stop at that, but I hope that gave us some boost to study this. Looking forward to seeing what Krishna Bhagwan is saying now. Next.